The Aztecs football team gets set to honor its seniors, just 2 wins away from a spot in the conference championship game, while the men's basketball team loses a double overtime thriller at Viejas Arena. Hello and welcome to Aztecs All In, the podcast that goes all in on San Diego State sports. I'm Louis Weiner along with Steve Perez. We'll get to the hoops in just a few minutes, but Steve, the football team has a lot to play for this weekend, huh?
Hello, Louis. Couple of Aztecs gut checks coming up where we actually demonstrate what a gut check actually sounds like. Stay tuned. It's like the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty. The payoff is huge.
So you're telling me I have to check my gut. I don't know how to do that, but let's move on to the podcast. So what are you thinking this weekend, Saturday? San Jose State got waxed last weekend against Nevada. We'll talk more about that in a minute. What the San Jose State coach had to say to the media before he addressed them. But San Diego State right now, it's a game they can't look past. They got New Mexico the following week on the road. They need to win both.
Yes, he says that right after looking past San Jose State and looking at New Mexico. No, a quick look back and a shout out to Hunter Green for the play he made. The Aztecs punter, he went up for a high snap late in the game against Boise State, and he came down with it like a power forward and quickly dropped that ball on his foot and blasted it downfield. He doesn't make that play. Maybe we're talking about a different kind of a story from last week, huh?
Yeah, that was some play. I think Coach Lewis talked about that as well during his media briefing, and he also talked about how he's got his guys focused for this game and this game alone against San Jose State, and it's a team they can't look past. And what are you thinking as far as the matchups here?
I thought it was interesting to look at the ESPN writer Bill Connolly's SP Plus rankings with all the FBS teams. And then he has another one. It's a tempo and opponent-adjusted measure of college football efficiency, and it's supposed to be predictive and forward-facing. The Aztecs are number 53 in that metric, and they moved up 3 spots in that. You look down and see where the opponent is. San Jose State, they're 109th. And they dropped 10 spots because of their performance last week. That is supposed to be predictive, and it's a game on paper, again, the Aztecs should handle because of the San Jose State defense and some of the performances they put on in the past. You would expect that the Aztec offense would be able to get something going similar to what they did at home against Colorado State. But every game is different. This is college football, right?
Absolutely. And we'll have to see if Jaden Denigal is given an opportunity to throw a few more passes. He did not have that opportunity last week and didn't do great, right? He had 3 passes that were for negative yards, and I think he only completed 6. So it'll be interesting to see if Coach Lewis opens up the offense a bit or sticks to the ground game and Lucky Sutton and Christian Washington, who are just doing a great job, and maybe they just stick with that script.
People keep pointing at that statistic about the passing from the last game. Scoreboard, 17-7. They are in, well, let me see if I can pull out my book of cliches. Oh, yeah, here it is. They are in the driver's seat in the Mountain West. They get a chance to be in control of their own destiny. I think it would be a great opportunity for the locals to show up because they have this classic throwback pricing I see. You can pick up a hot dog for $2.75. Nachos, $3.50. I don't know if this beer is throwback pricing is $10, but the popcorn, $2.
I saw that.
What's not to like?
It's cheaper, not cheap, right? The $10 beer, I don't remember
right.
When we were going to games back in the Marshall Faulk era that we were paying $10 for a beer. So I don't know what they're throwing it back to. It's like they're throwing it back 3 years, maybe 4 years for the beer. I'm not quite sure.
The throwbacks would be if they could actually have big all-for-one, one-for-all tailgates in the stadium instead of confining it to one separate spot and trying to extract even more out of people who were already paying a decent chunk of change to get into the game and to get into the parking lot even. So we've mentioned that the Aztecs do control their own destiny when it's all said and done. Win out, you're in. Lose one, you might be out. This is the info from the Mountain West. 2 weeks left in the regular season. There are 7 Mountain West teams still alive for a spot in that championship game. And the host, Lewis, still to be determined. Aztecs could clinch that spot this weekend with a win over San Jose State and losses by Fresno State, New Mexico, and Boise State. But there's also that possibility it could be a 7-way tie at 5-3 in the league standings. So when it's all said and done, like we said before, win out and you're in. Here's Lewis with more from Coach Sean Lewis.
Steve, the Aztecs are in the driver's seat to host the Mountain West Conference Championship game on December 5th. That is guaranteed if they win their final 2 games against San Jose State here at home and New Mexico in Albuquerque. The Spartans' record may be misleading. They're just 3-7 overall and 2-4 in the Mountain West, but they have a scary good offense, much like Hawaii, which dominated the Aztecs on the islands a few weeks back. Quarterback Walker Eget is the real deal. He's second in the nation with 302 passing yards a game, and in a 7-game stretch during the season ending with their home loss against Air Force on November 8th, he completed 62% of his passes for 2,500 yards, that's 350 a game, and 15 touchdowns. For comparison's sake, San Jose State put up 630 yards in total offense in a 45-38 win over Hawaii, while the Aztecs managed just 267 yards against the Rainbow Warriors. So while fans may look at San Jose State as an easy W, Coach Sean Lewis knows better.
I mean, it's super dangerous, right? Like, we've seen them a bunch in crossover tape at this point in time through conference play. You know, as you're prepping for opponents, you're seeing either side of it, and you know what's coming. Again, the passing attack is very real. They spread you out. Their front is dynamic. They got some players that can play on edges and play with twitch. And then, again, right, like, the results, guys, you can look all around college football, right? We've been talking about this all year, and we'll continue to talk about it. Like, throw the records out, throw your predictions out, like, you know, especially when you have a game, you know, where Nevada did, where they get non-offensive touchdowns, right? They get a pick six, they get a kickoff return for a touchdown. That changes the scope of the game. It's why those phases of the game, particularly special teams, are so important. Really, really accurate, knows the system really well. A lot of ways offensively, they're going to stress you the way that Hawaii did, right? They're going to spread the field. Kid knows the system intimately. He's got really good touch. He's got really good ball velocity. I mean, you can't relax. He gets outside the pocket. We got to plaster and stay on these dynamic wide receivers, but they do a really good job of spreading you out, getting their speed in space, and he can facilitate the ball in a very accurate manner to turn his receivers into runners really, really quickly. No, I mean, you still got to have a appreciation for the run game, but again, the space that they create and, you know, the priorities that they put on throwing the football, you got to have a balanced attack. But if you're not sound and your numbers aren't right, then they'll exploit that as well. So we're going to come up with a good plan here. We're still very much early on in that prep with it all, but they change the scoreboard quite frequently through the air in the way that they stress you that way.
Steve, Eget throws to one of the best wide receivers in the nation in redshirt sophomore Danny Scudero. He leads the nation in receiving yards with 1,140, receiving yards a game with 115, and he's third in the nation with 10 receiving touchdowns. But an opportunistic Aztecs defense will be looking to get the ball on the ground because in their 7 losses, the Spartans have a -13 turnover margin. The Aztecs will be looking to finish the season undefeated at home for the first time since the 1996 team went 6-0. It would be the 6th time an Aztecs team would finish undefeated at home. It also happened in 1969, 72, 74, and 77.
They got great pride. We talked really early on about good teams defend their home, right? And it's been a point of emphasis for us. And guys have really bought in and believed that that's something that we need to do, something that we're capable of doing. We got some good early wins in the season, which I think has brought belief and confidence into, you know, defending our home turf. And, you know, it's a stadium that we have great pride in, right? It's a great place to call home that more and more fans continue to come out and to be a part of. There's a tremendous opportunity for that to continue to grow this week with throwback pricing and throwback concessions and throwback field design to create a great environment to where, you know, again, the fans can be just as much a part of the competitive advantage that we have, you know, with our kids playing at a really high level. And so, again, it's just something that they've taken to heart to defend our home, and we got another opportunity here to do that this week.
This past Saturday's crowd at Snapdragon Stadium was enthusiastic, but the rain didn't help in getting fans to the stadium. 29,000 tickets were distributed, but according to the UT's Kirk Kenny, about half came through the turnstiles. This weekend, the Aztecs are doing all they can to get the fans to the game for senior night with a Classics concession promotion highlighting $2.75 hot dogs, $3.50 nachos, and $2 popcorn. In addition, they're promoting some $27 tickets, and season ticket holders are being offered 2 free tickets to hand out to family and friends.
Continue to educate, continue to win, continue to build a great program. Build it, they'll come, right? And so, again, I'll keep saying it. Hey, like, I showed up here and everyone told me, hey, coach, put a winner on the field. It's a football town. It's a sports craze town, and they'll show up. And so, hey, we got a team that's first place. We got great pricing. There's, been all kinds of obstacles that have been broken down through our leadership, and, excited to see the response from our fans to come out and, again, to be a part of a great competitive environment and for them to have a huge impact in the game, this upcoming Saturday.
In addition, it's senior night and a chance to honor the guys who over the past 2 years bought into Sean Lewis's leadership and show the younger players what Aztec fast football is all about. Many of them could have left after last season for a lot more money, but they decided to stick around, including all 11 defensive starters from last year, a rarity in these days of NIL. Lewis couldn't be more appreciative and understands what some of them gave up to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about where we are without these guys, right? And so they mean everything. I was asked very, very early on when I got here, like, Coach, what type of coach are you? I'm a players coach, right? And so you're thankful and grateful for the kids believing in your vision. You're thankful and grateful for them entrusting you with this precious time in their lives. Like, this is, it's such a small window that they have to play this game at this level, and they're entrusting us as a staff to help them grow, to help them mature, to help them develop, so hopefully that they can aspire to and reach their dreams of playing at the next level, and to have a experience here that they'll look back on and say, man, that was one of the best times of my life, right? There's going to be a lot of great things that come for these guys with marriage and fatherhood and all the other things, right? But right now I hope they reflect back on this time, and while they're in it right now, they take a moment in the present to be present and know how truly special this is, and to soak it up. So they mean everything to me. Without them, like, I'd just be some tall, bald, bearded guy that's obsessed with football, right? With them and with their belief, like, I get to be called coach, and they give me purpose every single day. Again, we're not in this spot without them. I mean, Ross epitomizes it up front. I mean, Chris, just literally sacrificed a whole bunch of money to stay with this team, right? But each one of them in their own right, like, doing their part, doing the things that we asked them to do, that make this group truly, truly special.
So, Steve, the challenge for Lewis and his staff is to try to do it again, keep the best players on the team from moving on to other programs. And Lewis says he understands the challenge.
Nothing's easy. Right? Nothing will be easy, because now there's more eyeballs on us, and there's more, guys who probably have our guys on their boards at other places that got bigger bankroll, right? So it's going to be important for our community to help us with finishing the climb with our campaign. But we all know that there's nothing easy about this, and I wouldn't want it any other way. The hard makes it meaningful, the hard makes it valuable, and the hard makes it fun. Like, and again, maybe that makes me, a little bit crazy, but there's nothing easy about it. But again, that's what makes it so special. Being competitive, right? Having an intentional purpose, I think it's really important. We talk about having a focused football team. Like, we live in America's finest city, right? There's lots to do here. And if you don't have a intentional purpose and want to grow as a young person and want to get a great degree and want to become the best individual who happens to play football at a high level, you can be really distracted really easily here. Some of the things that are also, like, being a good teammate, right? Like, we're in such a me-first society that it's really important for us that you embrace we over me, and then know and understand that by us doing it collectively together, right, whatever it is that you want individually is going to be much more achievable because you're doing it with a group of people as opposed to trying to do it all on your own. So those are some of the things that we spend a whole lot of time, as we vet out, the people, and whether that's staff members or players or whomever that we're going to bring into our program. You got to have a burning desire to compete, right? And you got to want to do it with a bunch of other people that, you're humble enough to know, like, hey, I don't have all the answers, but we can do this collectively together.
And you have to hold to those standards. You can't deviate if you say, well, this guy's a special talent. That's kind of...
No, we coach our hardest guys, probably the hardest, right? But everyone in our building knows that we have really high expectations, we have really high standards, but I think that also comes with a really high love as well. I think if you have a culture and environment that, has too high of standards and not enough love, well, that's too hard, and no one wants to show up in that space, right? And if you have an environment that has really low standards or low expectations with a whole bunch of love, well, that's really, really soft, and you're not going to become the best version of yourself, right? So we have high standards, we have high expectations, we have a lot of high love. A mentor of mine taught me that a long time ago, and yeah, if you're one of our best guys, you're going to be held to that, then some.
Steve, the Aztecs took a big step toward helping to keep some of those players, announcing its Finish the Climb program, a fundraising initiative designed to raise $2 million in support of Aztec football's recruitment and retention fund. A key feature is its matching challenge, with an anonymous donor pledging $1 million challenge gift, which will be unlocked when Aztec Nation raises $1 million in matching support. So $1 million gets the program an additional $1 million.
Lewis, last Saturday, sections of the Snapdragon turf turns to a slip and slide under bouts of an atypical rain in San Diego. And in that grinded-out gut check win over Boise State, and I'd stand by for the sound effects here. Oof. That's the sound of a gut check when it's your gut getting checked. Oof. So in that gut check time, Lucky Sutton puts up 150 yards by running through holes bashed open by the Aztecs front, led by a group of starters who've taken the field for all 10 games so far. And after those holes open up, Sutton then carries defenders and gets the uniform wet and muddy, scrambling for those extra yards on every freaking carry. Christian Washington gained 98 yards. Denegal rushed for the 2 touchdowns in tallying 16, and even Byron Cardwell contributed a few key runs there, averaging 5 yards a carry. A quick rewind, 2 weeks ago, Paradise turns hellish in Honolulu, where Hawaii's Micah Alhado carves up San Diego State's secondary for 3 first-half TDs to Jackson Harris. Aztecs dropped in a passing clinic, 38-6, that exposed every coverage gap. They'll have to keep an eye on that this week. Fast forward to Saturday night, November 22nd, 7:30 p.m. kickoff on Fox Sports 1, senior night on the Mesa. Even more renowned and experienced QB in Walker Eggett. He will have predicted dry skies to operate under. The fans will get throwback pricing. And the seniors on their special night will get a ceremony that's less wave goodbye and more salute the architects, because these seniors, guys like offensive lineman Bayo Kannike and linebacker Mr. Williams, they didn't just inherit a rebuild. They had a hand in blueprinting it, making a big impact as transfers into a program following up on a 3-9 season under a second-year head coach. They're the guys the media spoke with on Monday at the Fowler Center. So the night's not just about the 8-2 Aztecs chasing destiny. It's the end result, what happens when the portal's whirlpool swirls. The players all buy into a tough concept Coach Lou calls the climb, but also features tugs of war in the ocean where the Navy SEALs training, gearing up week after week during a bruising season for morning practice. Now, as an offensive lineman, Kannike is not chasing headlines, he's blocking for them. That run game clinic last Saturday, where 3 Aztec ball carriers amassed 277 rushing yards on 46 carries, it should speak for itself, but Kannike tries to put it into words.
It's an amazing feeling. It's one of those games where we as a unit, as an O-line unit, we actually get some recognition for doing our job.
Call that recognition the quiet currency of the trenches. Bayo's line paved all those rushing yards against Boise State, 6 yards a pop in the slop. Okay, groundskeepers at Snapdragon, it wasn't exactly slop. That was just, alliteration there. Anyways, it was a tremendous bounce back from the Hawaii game. Aztecs' Lucky Sutton mustered just 78 yards in that one. And whereas the Hawaii front seven stacked the box and succeeded, Boise State faced a different team on the Aztecs' home turf. So that brings us to the 3-7 Spartans, or as I like to call them, the Conexentos of San Jose State. 2 of their wins in conference, one against that Hawaii team that gave the Aztecs all that trouble. Remember, Lewis, we talked about that game in San Jose because it was the weekend before the Aztecs faced Hawaii. The home team won 45-38 by laying down 630 yards against the Rainbow Warriors. 458 of those yards through the air from Walker Egat. The Conexentos had 3 receivers who topped 100 yards in that shootout, led by Bolitnikov semifinalist Danny Scudero's 215 yards on bombs like a 62-yarder. But the twist is San Jose's pass party papers over a defense that is 11th nationally in yards allowed per game at 281 through the air. Turnovers tell the tale. In their 3 wins, a +4 margin. In their losses, -13. For Bayo and the line, it's personal. Senior night means honoring the vets who turned trust the process from slogan to scar tissue. Bayo arrived on the Mesa in January. Big ol' arms, 6'4", 340. Open to a culture mid-metamorphosis under Sean Lewis. From the offensive line, the heart of the offense, we go now to the other side of the ball. A player on the all-name team, Mr. Williams, the rangy linebacker who's been a tackling machine helping shore up the linebacking core, making 5 starts this season, and helping overcome the loss for the rest of the season of team captain Tano Latuli. Mr. Williams has 62 stops on the season, part of a defense that has pitched 27 scoreless quarters in 40 played.
First of all glory to God. I wouldn't be able to do anything as I do or the team does without him. So I want to thank him foremost. And for the most part, it's just relying on coaches and teammates. They've accepted me out here with great arms, great big arms, and I just trust the process, trust our game plan, trust my teammates, and that's how I'm able to do what I'm gonna do. Without them, there's no me.
Mr. transferred from Incarnate Word of the Southland Conference. He brought with him a winning mindset and a penchant for hard hitting. And the Conexentos, or Spartans if you will, have a ground game that provides a bit of a test. Freshman phenom Steve Chavez Soto getting more carries of late, averaging 5.5 yards a carry, 7 rushing scores. Gouged Hawaii for 3 of them on just 10 carries. Lamar Radcliffe chipped in 97 against Hawaii, his longest jaunt, a 25-yard dagger. Now, San Jose State rushes for 174 yards in its wins, but the Aztecs front has limited opponents in its 6 conference games to an average of 160 a game. That's a shade over 3 yards a carry average, second in the Mountain West. Mister's take? It's what we do.
That's what we're designed to do as a defense, stop the run. That's our main goal every week is to kill the run. And so when the run's at us, we just try to do our job, like if they were to pass 40 times a game or whatever it may be. Just do our job and be who we are.
This week for the Aztecs, being who we are, we'll need a heavy dose of pressure on the quarterback, disguising the coverage, and being resilient in the face of an aerial onslaught. That and another heavy dose of the Aztecs' run game to limit the possessions by Egan and company as much as possible. As far as senior night goes, both Bayo and Mr. nod to the locker room vets. DJ Herman's unheralded blocks in the run game. Ross Ulugalu-Masayuli calling out the assignments from the center spot on the offensive line. These guys and more helping turn what could have been transfer chaos into cohesion and an 8-2 overall record to date. In the portal era, then, we have to count the Aztecs fortunate this season to have kept a core defense together, added just enough moving parts needed by the transfer portal, and brought along some underclassmen to buy into that admittedly crazy yet methodical Sean Lewis Aztec fast approach. They will need one more solid performance at home to achieve perfection in Snapdragon Stadium this season, where San Jose State, 6.4 yards per play, may meet Aztecs physics. A perfect home season hosting a Mountain West championship to both Bayo and Mr. Williams. That's all the first part of Aztec Fast. Focused.
Like Coach Lou said in a meeting this morning, just trying to stay present as possible. Just being in the moment, enjoying the moment, and working in the moment. And that's kind of how I see everything right now. Just trying to be in the moment, stay in the moment.
Yeah, our main focus is San Jose State right now. So that's all we're worried about.
And oh yeah, Lewis, you can also give a shout out to another important F word, fans.
Say definitely the fans for sure, definitely the support. Please bring more. It'll help us win better or win more,
Yeah, shout out to fans for coming and sitting through the rain. That meant a lot to have the stadium still full after halftime on a rainy night. Shout out them.
And in case you're wondering, Lewis, apparently at one point, Lucky Sutton took his lineman out for dinner. It was a buffet of Brazilian food, apparently.
San Jose State coach Ken Niumatalolo spoke to the media, Steve, and he basically apologized to the media before making his comments about San Diego State, apologized to the fans for their performance in a 55-10 loss this past weekend to Nevada, probably the worst team in the Mountain West Conference. But he also had high praise for San Diego State. So here's what the coach of San Jose State had to say.
The task doesn't get any easier. We're going against the number one team in our conference. Really, really good football team. Coach Lewis has done a really good job. They really great bounce back year from last year. They tweaked some stuff. And so whatever he's done a really good job. Best defense in our conference. I think they're fourth in scoring defense. I saw a thing be out by ESPN as far as they kind of measure percentage of times that you get stops, and they're up there with Ohio State, as one of the best in the country. So they're a really, really good team. They run the football. They're physical, biggest O-line that will play all year. So, playing the best O-line, really good running backs. Trey White, one of their defensive ends, outside linebacker, probably the best pass rusher in the league. Got a really good corner, probably NFL corner. So, you go from, whatever it is. We played the worst team in our record-wise. It was the bottom of our conference, and we get pummeled. Now we play the best team in our conference. And so, it's a great challenge for us, and that's kind of the message for us as we try to get ready and, get ready for San Diego State. So,
Lewis, you got to believe that Coach Ken had some brother talks with Timmy Chang, the head coach of the Rainbow Warriors in Hawaii. Coach Ken was a graduate assistant for the Rainbow Warriors in the early 90s after starring as quarterback. And recall that the Rainbow Warriors got the very best of the Aztecs a couple of weeks ago on the island. While Coach Ken's record as Spartans head coach is 10-13 at this point in his second season, we're talking about someone in his 18th year as a coach with a career winning record. Oh yeah, in that career, he is also 2-1 against San Diego State. So if there's any coach capable of coming up with a winning game plan against the Aztecs on their senior night, no one better than Coach Ken. Aztecs are going to need their deep five to cover in this one. They were without Chris Johnson against Hawaii. He's one of the best coverage guys in the country, according to Pro Football Focus. They grade him out as the best overall, and they grade him out as tops in coverage. So they will need him and everyone else in that Aztec secondary chasing around after all those receivers that San Jose will throw at them on Saturday night. Let's switch now to men's hoops, Lewis, shall we? Or shall we not? Troy University, Trey State, the Trojans out of Troy, Alabama. The program made the NCAA tournament last year, as Coach Brian Dutcher pointed out on Monday. They play fast, bomb the threes. They carry that nobody believes in us chip from a town of 18,000. Suddenly feels a lot bigger after that upset over the Aztecs on their home hardwood.
The Aztecs men's basketball team came up on the wrong side of an instant classic at Viejas Arena, falling to Troy 108-107 in double overtime. Aztecs started this one off sluggish, falling behind 14-2, but battled their way back to tie it at 38 at halftime. In the second half, the Aztecs briefly pulled ahead 55-52 before Troy took over the game, scoring on possession after possession. The Aztecs struggled to get a stop, and on the offensive end, couldn't get anything going consistently. With 3:53 left, Jarrell Bellamy scored to make it 83-71 Troy, and fans started to pack up and leave Viejas Arena. But little did they know the Aztecs would mount a frantic comeback, topped off with Miles Bird hitting a half-court shot at the buzzer to send the game to overtime. In the first overtime, Aztecs started well, jumping to a 4-point 93-89 lead, but credit Troy for battling back to take a 98-96 lead. But a Reese Dixon Waters layup with 7 seconds left sent the game to a second overtime. And again, the Aztecs took a 4-point lead, 104-100, with 3:22 left on a Dixon Waters jumper, but they would score just 3 points the rest of the way. A Cooper Campbell layup and a Thomas Dowd three-pointer gave Troy the lead with 1:55 left, 105-104. But a Miles Bird three put the Aztecs up 107-105 with 1:32 left. Leading 107-106, Magoon Guath got a steal, but Dixon Waters missed a three, and Troy's Theo Seng's layup with 15 seconds left made it 108-107. Aztecs call timeout with a chance to win it, but instead of driving in and perhaps scoring or drawing a foul, Miles Bird got a good look for a three but missed, and off the rebound, Sean Newman tried to get off a shot before the buzzer, but it was blocked, and the game was over, despite Troy fouling out 3 players and those still in the game looking gassed. Miles Bird led all Aztecs in scoring with 24 points, and while Guath looked a bit rusty in his season debut, he still ended up playing 28 minutes, scoring 20 points on 5 of 5 shooting and grabbing 7 rebounds. Aztecs outshot Troy 47-44%. Dixon Waters and Jeremiah Oden both missed free throws down the stretch that could have made a difference. Aztecs had 20 turnovers, and the Trojans scored 29 points off of those turnovers.
If you were a college basketball fan, you had to love that game, but unfortunately, I'm not a college basketball fan. I'm a college coach, so I wasn't very happy with the results. Giving up 89 points in a home game at Viejas is unheard of. So obviously, it had a lot to do with them, some to do with us, and a little bit in between. So we can't give up that many points. They average 87, so they scored 2 over their average against us. And we knew they were dangerous. They got 5 guys that spread the floor and shoot the three. And this is the first time all year that we switched every ball screen to try to keep guys out of the paint where we didn't have to help, keep a body in front of a body, and they ended up driving a lot of those switches and getting to the basket. Dowd had 18 rebounds. That's a monster game for anybody. I thought our offense was pretty good. Second half, we shot over 50% in the 40s from 3. So I thought offensively we played well enough, but we don't win with our offense, we win with our defense. And it looked like this game was just racing each other, see who could score the most points. And that's not Aztec basketball. We have to get timely stops, important stops, and we did. We had a 4-point lead, and then we had a turnover, backcourt violation, and we had an illegal screen on Magoon up 4. So we didn't even get a shot with a 4-point lead. So we got to get better execution, but that's the beauty of basketball. We're going to play in 20 more games that are going to go down the last 2 or 3 minutes this season. And so we'll find a way to execute better down the stretch and come out on the winning end of these.
Earlier in the week, Dutcher was asked if there are any Mountain West teams that run the same type of offense so the team can go to school on that game with Troy. Well, not so much. He says they play 5 out almost the entire game. It's not something that's normal in the Mountain West. Most teams in the Mountain West have shooting 4, but a shooting 5? Unheard of. Spread you out, drive and kick, dare you to guard the perimeter with your bigs. He said they had to be locked in on help and recover. So what do you think they are getting from the coaching staff in the wake of this one? Maybe a few players on the Aztecs basketball unit need to improve on that defense.
Steve, my reflections on the game, having been inside Viejas Arena, is that it's rare for the fans to get a warning from the officials. But when Troy jumped out to a 7-0 lead with 2 minutes gone in the first half, as you all know, the fans, as they always do until the Aztecs score their first points, continued to clap. But you could also hear a drum beat as well. And the officials actually stopped the game to let the crowd know that they could continue to clap, but the drum beating had to stop. Of course, this just led to a huge chorus of boos from the crowd. Not sure what led to the warning, if the Troy coach complained or what, but the Aztecs finally scored their first points about 20 seconds later. The fans were pretty much stunned as Troy took that 12-point lead with 3:50 left and had pretty much given up hope. But when Bird hit that half-court shot at the buzzer, the crowd went ballistic. And for me, it was the most exciting shot I'd ever seen in person, aside from Lamont Butler's basket in Houston that beat Florida Atlantic and sent the Aztecs to the national title game.
Lewis, the Schmetrics said the Aztecs would defeat the Trojans handily. The result, not so much, and once again, why they play the game. You gotta hope the Aztecs have that one in the memory bank for a time when losing the game means the season is over. I'm gonna close this one out with some good, bad, and ugly about the game. The good, if you liked offense. The bad, if you liked defense. And the ugly, damage to the resume when all the blue bloods on the NCAA tournament committee look at the seedings and the brackets for March, and they look down, askance even, at the West Coast teams in general, and San Diego State specifically, and they say, what? A loss in November? To who? My word. Okay, I'm done. You done, Lewis? Yeah, you're nodding your head. You're done. Okay, this has been Aztecs All In. Don't forget to keep up with us on the X while trying to be mindful at the same time. And good luck with that. The X handle, Aztecs_all_in. You can also hit us up, maybe even toss a few gut checks our way at aztecsallin@gmail.com. Next episode coming up after the football team takes on San Jose State Saturday night at the Snap. Till then, Steve Perez for Lewis Weiner, thanking you for checking us out and bidding you a pleasant tomorrow.